You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Monday. I'm Dalby, and all this week we've got some great look-back episodes of the podcast of some of our favorite moments of 2024. Now, on the show, every day, we bring you the news that matters 3 times a day, 6:20, 7:20, and 8:20 in the morning. The stories the mainstream media won't touch, the real truth behind the biggest stories of the day, and now, the biggest stories of the year, or at least the weirdest shit that we could find. This is the best of Sorta Kinda news.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
There's an online betting site in the States that is looking to hire a wiener connoisseur. They're asking them to go to all the major league ballparks this summer and, well, basically size up some hot dogs.
So they're not even asking for you to, review them or taste test them. They just want the statistics?
They want the length, the girth, and the weight of each dog from every stadium.
See, I think they're using the wrong term then. Wiener connoisseur would imply somebody who knows their way around a park wiener, that knows what the consistency, the texture, the feel should be. You're just looking for a wiener scientist.
A wiener scientist?
A wiener statistician to go from park to park with a measuring tape.
A wiener expert?
A wienerologist?
Yeah, wienerologist. That's what it is. I just can't imagine being at the ballpark and seeing some guy take out measuring tape after he gets a hot dog.
Is this how it happened when we found out that some Subway subs were not a foot long? Was it just some guy sitting in the restaurant? Shh. It's not up to code.
Dude, if I ever see a guy measuring out his food, I'm going to assume he's doing comparisons. That's all I can imagine.
Babe, I'm up to 1 Boston Fenway Park dog.
Every guy has grabbed the remote at least once in his life and been like, to the number 3 button, eh?
I got one of them Roku remotes. I'm doing okay.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
An employee at an art museum in the Netherlands threw out some art by mistake over the weekend.
You know what? Without even hearing the rest of the story, I believe it. The things that pass for art some days.
The guy was in the elevator and he saw 2 painted cans that he thought someone had just maybe left behind.
Sorry, did you say cans?
2 beer cans, actually.
Okay.
So he threw them in the trash, and then the museum asked the next day and said, hey, where did this art piece go? He was like, oh, the art piece? You mean the 2 cans that someone left in the elevator?
You mean the garbage?
Turns out that was art. Priceless art is what they're calling it.
Come on!
The museum says they bear no ill will towards the worker who was, quote-unquote, doing his job in good faith. And the museum director says, in a way, it's a testament to the effectiveness of the artist's work.
Damn, I'm going to hit up the beer store on the way home, pick up a 6-pack, and see if my kids can paint some priceless art after school
Who knew
today.
that my recycling bin sitting outside of my house right now is just filled with art?
Maybe that's the problem. He threw the beer cans in the garbage. He didn't put them in the blue bin, and that's the biggest deal.
You ever see that guy riding around your neighborhood on his bike with all those cans?
The artiste?
Yeah, the true artist of the neighborhood, if you will.
He's just collecting canvases, you guys.
A modern-day Van Gogh, some say.
Can go.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Curious what you think about this. There's a Swiss insurance group called Baloozy, I think?
Baloozy.
And they're testing something at work. They've got a chief LOL officer. So,
before you go into any details, I just want it on the record that I think I hate it.
basically, they are trying to encourage people to laugh more at work.
Sure.
So they've got this system set up that's basically like an AI technology that picks up everybody's laughter at their desks. And if you don't hit a certain quota of a minimum of 10 laughs a day, they'll check in on you.
You get a wellness check?
By sending you like memes and funny videos.
Get out of here.
So they're trying to encourage people to be more like jovial and have more fun at work, which I like the idea of it.
I love the idea of trying. Work can be, for a lot of people, a very stressful place, no matter what industry you work in. I love the idea of trying to take the stress out. People will live healthier, happier lives if they're laughing and having fun. But a laugh quota? Like, couldn't you I would just sit at my desk and be like, oh, if I don't laugh 3 more times, the guy's going to come send me meme. Ha, 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 ha.
What if you're just like depressed? Like you just found out your missus is leaving you or something and you got to go into work the next day?
You just lost your beloved great aunt and someone's sending you crappy Facebook memes because you haven't laughed 9 times today?
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I'm going through it right now.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Dolce & Gabbana just launched a new perfume.
Okay.
But for dogs,
Shut up.
called Feifei.
Is it Feifei or is it just Fifi? Is it named after the dude's dog?
Feifei. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Do you know Dolce & Gabbana quite well?
No, that's just like, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
Who's using cologne and perfume for their dogs?
They say it's been approved by vets. It's supposed to last all day long, and they say that the dogs really seem to enjoy the scent, which makes me wonder, and I don't mean to be crass here, does it smell like other dogs' butts then?
That's what dogs love,
That's
right?
like every dog's favorite smell.
Dogs love butts and meat, and that's about it. So which one does this smell like? What are we spraying our dogs with? Where are you supposed to spray it?
It doesn't say, actually.
Do you spray it on the back end?
Some people's dogs need that.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A 9-year-old boy from England has won a European championship of the gull screeching competition that recently happened in Belgium.
There's a European championship for making seagull noises?
Yeah, here, check this out.
3, 2, 1.
He's dressed up as a seagull. Listen to the crowd.
They're losing. It's like watching darts on TV.
They go nuts for the kid there.
118!
Apparently, he scored a 92 points out of a possible 100.
Damn,
there.
what do you think he was missing to get the 8 points needed for a perfect gull score?
I have no idea. Maybe it was the approach. I don't know. His parents traveled all the way from England to Belgium to take him out there for this.
What a journey. How do you find out that you're good at that?
I don't know.
Kids in the back seat, gulls flying by, he's just back there going, "Gah, gah," and you're like, this boy's a champion.
I don't mean to be rude, but I think that's one of those moments as a parent where you go, my kid's a little bit weird.
I bet he made more money than a gold medalist at the Olympics.
It doesn't say anything about winning money.
There's no prize.
It doesn't say anything about that.
He got a handful of loose French fries, as is custom.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Apparently, Little John is releasing a meditation album.
I saw this. This is the that guy.
Yeah.
Is going to lead me to calm Nirvana.
I don't know what it's going to be like, but I just imagine in the middle of it, he's like, hey, take a deep breath. I want you to exhale.
Yeah.
Close your eyes. I want you to envision a house right now. Can you do that for me? Do you notice the windows? Do you notice the walls? Do you notice the sweat dripping down my balls? Let's all take a breath together. Ow, ski, 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 ski.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A man in Iowa just broke the Guinness World Record for the largest eggplant.
The largest egg. Now, we're just like an actual eggplant, like the actual vegetable.
Yeah, why? Okay. What would you be thinking of?
Well, just you never know, right? You just maybe it's like an emoji or something. You had a big phone, big tablet.
Is that what that emoji is used for?
For eggplants, yeah. It represents eggplants.
Huh.
Nothing else.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. Okay. Guy got the Guinness World Record for the largest eggplant. It's over 8.3 pounds.
Damn.
28 inches in circumference.
In like 28 inches around?
Look at this girthy SOB.
Yeah, that looks like a pumpkin. Like that legitimately looks like that man's holding a purple pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
The girthiest eggplant of all time.
Also, can I just say, man has a mustache worthy of an eggplant that big.
He kind of looks like Sam Elliott,
doesn't he? Does have a little Sam Elliott going on to him. Like if Sam Elliott retired from voice work and acting and just was like, I'm going to focus on I'm going to focus on farming.
Oh, yeah. I'm always curious what people do with these world record, like, plants, vegetables,
Like, at
stuff
some
like
point,
that.
you got to eat it, right? It'll go bad eventually.
I guess? Or do you preserve it?
I don't know. Yeah, put it in resin?
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's got to be such a big accomplishment, and then
Right.
is it satisfying to...
What do you do with that much eggplant? I've never had that much eggplant in my life, so I don't know.
You and me both,
I
brother.
don't know what to do with it.
You
if
and
I
me
got,
both.
If I got my hands on
The
it.
Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Austin Matthews was named the new captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs yesterday. John Tavares passed the torch on to him.
Finally, everything's going to turn around for the Leafs. Woo!
A lot of people do agree with me that as much as I love Austin Matthews, it should have been Morgan Riley.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of been around for a while, would have been a decent pick. Although I'm not a fan, I don't work for the team, but if I was picking, I would have picked Edward Smith as the new captain.
There's what?
Edward Smith, he was the captain of the Titanic. He has a lot of experience in going down with the ship.
I hate you so much. You had me thinking, I'm like, is this some guy in the Marlies or something? Damn it, dude. Screw you, man.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Fireball Whiskey is creating a limited edition bottle called Crier Ball, which combines Fireball with the actual tears of losing sports fans.
Jeez.
So what they're going to be doing is over the next few weeks, they're going to various sporting events, college football games, NFL games, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And when the home team loses, they're going to ask fans on the way out if they can collect their tears.
Oh, my God. First of all, if I was leaving a Steelers game, a Red Wings game, any team
If someone
I cheer
asked you for your tears, that's so messed up.
we're probably getting in a fight. Like, that's a weird thing to ask.
for me.
As I'm walking out the door. I don't know what a better way to go about it is, but in that moment of emotional vulnerability, someone from Fireball is getting punched.
How do they do it? Do they have like a little like, I don't know, like baster thing that like sucks it up?
Right.
Or
Do they just hold the vial up to your tear ducts and like catch one or two and be like, all right, on your way, loser?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Apparently, the German surfing team has absolutely been a menace at the Olympic Village already. They're actually not in the traditional Olympic Village. What they've done, because surfing's new this year, they've actually put all these surfers on a ship.
Really?
They're on a cruise ship that's anchored in the South Pacific Ocean.
I love the idea of like your sport hasn't earned a spot in the village yet.
No, I think it's actually kind of cool. They're keeping all the surfers in one spot, but everybody's hating on the German surf team right now.
What are they doing?
Because apparently all they're doing is partying.
Really?
And they're like all over TikTok and stuff. They're trying to force other countries to party with them.
See, that's where it becomes, if it's just the Germans and this is, opportunity of a lifetime, go to Paris, go to the Olympics, compete for a medal, and they're having a good time, let them have their fun. But if they start banging on doors like, yo, Poland, come party.
Do you guys want to party? It might actually be a smart move. I mean, you make all these other countries party a little too hard.
Right,
they
right.
slip up, and then they don't surf too well.
Absolutely. Listen, we've all slipped the guy we're playing beer pong against an extra shot or two before, you know?
Ah, yes. Have another drink. Yes.
The Germans are doing the old throw the shot over the shoulder trick. Like, I can't believe we're still so sober.
Oh, you so hungover today? Oh, that's so bad. Me and Hans will go surfing now.
Let's hit the waves.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Do you remember the Australian breakdancer Ray Gunn?
Pew pew.
Well, now she is officially ranked number 1 in female breakdancer rankings across the world.
I saw this. This is incredible. This woman went to the Olympics and scored a grand total of, count them with me, 0 points in competition.
The crazy thing is the 3 ladies who actually medaled at the Olympics aren't even in the top 10, and maybe you're scratching your head wondering, how does this work? Well, the rankings are based on points from each dancer's top performance over the past 12 months, and I guess the Olympics doesn't fall into that, like, world category.
Oh.
So even though she got 0 for her amazing Olympic routine...
You're going to tell me that Ray Gunn, at some point in the last 12 months, again, after scoring 0 points at the Olympics, put on such an amazing performance somewhere else that they're like, that's their number 1.
It's based off of one performance she had.
One dance, one time.
But the 3 other girls were not in the same, I guess, league or I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
To be fair, if I'm a competitor and Ray Gun is number 1, I don't want to be on that list. I don't want to be number 2.
She is the most famous breakdancer in the world right now.
100%. The gold medalist in men's breaking is Canadian. Name him. I dare any of you to name him without Googling.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Canada is planning on banning the sale of flavored nicotine pouches in convenience stores and gas stations.
I mean, we already did the banned tobacco flavors in cigarettes and cigars and all these other things. It kind of feels like, yeah, this was only a matter of time.
Now, here's the interesting thing. Apparently, according to the health minister, they say that they're doing this because of obviously big tobacco being big tobacco once again. But they're saying that you might only be able to get them at like pharmacies, behind the counter kind of thing.
Imagine needing a prescription to dip.
Yeah. And it's weird because these pouches have kind of become the new thing amongst like the younger kids where it's like, kids weren't smoking cigarettes. They were just straight vaping.
Yep.
Now kids are just straight packing lips.
Right. Well, yeah, because that's the thing is like for my generation, you actually had loose tobacco that you jammed into your lip.
Carry around a 2-liter.
It was a mess. It was disgusting, right? And now you can't smoke in a lot of places. Vaping crackdowns are huge. So all of a sudden you take the what can be kind of subtle lip dip and you put it into a little pouch. Now you don't have all the mess and stuff like that. I still think it's disgusting, but I get why these things are so popular.
Yeah, it's huge right now with the kids. So, I mean, I get that it's kind of like the Juuls. They're trying to nip it in the butt while it's still hot right now. But it just feels weird to go to like Shoppers Drug Mart and be like, can I get some pouches?
10 of Zins, my good man.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Ohio Supreme Court has just ruled that boneless chicken can actually have bones in it.
It's like, by definition, it doesn't make any sense. It's an insane statement to say if you order boneless chicken, you should expect that there might be bones in it. That's like saying that if you buy a non-alcoholic beer, you should be prepared for it to be full of alcohol.
So what happened is, if you missed it, there was a guy, he ordered boneless wings at a restaurant. It turned out there was a little bone in it. He ended up choking on it, got an infection, had to have surgeries. So he sued the restaurant, the chicken supplier, the processors. This case made its whole way to the Ohio Supreme Court, where they decided, and this is a real quote, I'm not making this up, that boneless wings is a cooking style. It is not a guarantee. They say just as a person eating chicken fingers would not have been served fingers.
And that's super dumb. Like, that's just an insane statement. Chicken fingers, no one expects it to be fingers. That's the name of it. To say boneless wings is a very descriptive thing of what you should be expecting. But I get what they're saying when they say, like, oh, it's not a guarantee. No one's asking for it to be a guarantee. But especially in the States, where this man choked on a bone in his boneless wings, suffered injuries, had to pay hospital bills, I don't think it's unreasonable that guy should expect the kitchen that stuffed bones in his boneless wings to have to pay for it.
I 100% agree with what you're saying, but I will say, if this guy had just been a real man and ordered chicken wings,
there's also that.
He would have been fine.
I don't like to blame the victim, but in this case, maybe we all just stop ordering boneless wings.
If you're over the age of 12, order actual chicken wings, okay? Like a real adult.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
There is a company in India that is under very hot water right now after they allegedly asked employees if they are stressed. They asked them to fill out some paperwork explaining what stresses them out at the workplace.
Oh, like a survey sort of thing.
You know, trying to gauge their employees, right?
Right.
Well, what they did was they fired a bunch of people because of what they filled out. Here's a statement from the company. They said, recently we conducted a survey to understand your feelings about stress at work. Many of you shared your concerns, which we deeply value and respect.
Okay.
As a company committed to fostering a healthy and supportive work environment, we have carefully considered the feedback. To ensure that no one remains stressed at work, we have made the difficult decision to part ways with employees who indicated significant stress. The decision is effective immediately, and impacted employees will receive further notification.
That's crazy to be like, listen, if we fire everyone that's stressed, then no one here will be stressed.
Is there anything that's bugging you at work? Okay, cool. Leave.
Get out then.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, there's the door. Crazy.
Something to be said about honesty, I guess.
Yeah, keep it to yourself.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A drug dealer from Calgary decided he wanted to get more business, so what he did was he went around downtown Calgary handing out business cards with his name, phone number, and a little sample of the drug itself stapled to them.
Oh my God!
He was very easily tracked down, of course, and has since been arrested.
Now, hang on. I know it's illegal to sell drugs, but if he was just giving them for people for free, what's the crime?
I think the crime is handing out drugs.
Is that illegal?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I guess I thought we lived in a society, but
Apparently Calgary's not cool, man.
what do you think is going? Because I respect the marketing hustle of it.
Yeah.
But at some point, did nobody in this man's inner circle be like, hey, do you think this is a great idea?
That's a guy who was getting high on his own supply and thought he had a great idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I've got it. I'm going to get more clientele. I'll hand it out for free.
Boys, this is how I become the next star.
I'll put my name and my phone number on there. That way everybody knows who I am.
I'll put a picture of me and a little QR code that gives you a map to my house.
You know, they say any publicity is good publicity. I don't think this is one of those cases.
Someone just texted in, was he wearing a suit?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Usually when you get a rental car, they recommend you do a quick sweep to make sure you have all your belongings, right? Mm-hmm. You know, don't leave stuff that you're going to need or you don't want, like half-full water bottles, maybe your crystal meth.
Sorry, what was that last one again?
Police in Nebraska are looking for someone who returned a rental car but left 9 pounds of meth inside of it.
9 pounds? How much meth does this guy have that he can casually lose 9 pounds?
I don't condone serious drug use or drug dealing or anything like that, but how do you forget that?
9 pounds is not a small amount of anything.
It's not a smidgen of meth we're talking about.
That's
here.
a newborn baby of meth. And you just left it in the car. That's wild. And it's not even your car.
The local police do have some info on who rented the vehicle, but they're also inviting whoever did leave the vehicle in the meth the chance to own up to it right now.
Hey, listen, if you just tell us it's your meth, we'll reduce your sentence.
I also love the idea of just, even if the cops didn't say anything, of like going back to the car rental place and being like, did you happen to find anything in the car?
Yeah, hit up the lost and found at old Alamo car rentals.
Yeah, just scratching your face, just like, just curious.
Oh, we found a sweater in the trunk. Is that what you're looking for?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Experts are warning consumers who like to buy perfume, cologne, all that kind of stuff, to not cheap out.
Oh.
Not buy knockoffs, because apparently fake perfumes can be dangerous. They may not have the preservatives and chemicals that stop bacteria from growing. And apparently one of the biggest problems is after they did all of these tests, a lot of these knockoff colognes and perfumes show that they fill them up with urine.
That took a turn I was not prepared for.
You ever spray some cologne and you're like, ooh, musky, like hint of asparagus there, maybe?
Wow, this one really attacks the nostrils. I don't know what it is. There's a very acrid smell somewhere in there.
There's a reason why they tell you to keep it in dark places so it doesn't get too warm.
Just factory urine. That's insane.
So if you're thinking about getting some stocking stuffers,
maybe just skip the perfume aisle altogether this year.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
a little bit of a Florida man story for you here. Police in Florida arrested a 35-year-old man named Andrew Croswell who was involved in a hit-and-run crash last week. When the cops finally caught up to the dude, he said he didn't stop because he didn't think he'd hit anyone. When asked about the damage on his vehicle, he said that he hit a curb. The cops suspected that Andrew might have some drugs on him. And just listen to this audio here. It's pretty good.
Is there anything on you, dude? Use your words.
Here's the thing, too. You didn't give it a quick no, so that means you have something. You just don't want to say it. We're going to find it, so you just help us out and just tell us where it's at. Is it in or between the cheeks?
Between the cheeks.
Okay. What kind of underwear are you wearing? So you'd be able to kind of like jiggle it out down your life course?
Can you pick your butt with your hand? Hey, if we take him to jail and he admitted to having it, we'll let them know that he's got booty dope.
There's three things in there that I really like. Okay. The first is this one.
What kind of underwear are you wearing?
You really can't ask that at many jobs.
There are very few, even as a cop, there are very few times where that's an okay question.
I don't know about any other jobs where you can ask this.
Can you pick your butt with...
And then also, I mean, if this guy, gets out of jail and he wants to have a successful career as a rapper, this could be his name.
We'll let them know that he's got booty dope.
Got booty dope.
Booty dope.
Booty dope.
Booty dope, the mixtape coming. I don't know, whenever he serves a sentence.
Hot fire.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A 71-year-old man in Oregon was riding his bike when an ambulance crashed into him.
Just full on hit him?
The same ambulance then rushed him to the hospital. But here's the thing. They later billed him for the ride.
Come on.
So now he's taking them to court and he's suing them.
Absolutely he should. That's crazy.
$1,800 bill for the hospital, which is like peak America, by the way.
Absolutely.
I just feel like you got to give a freebie if you hit them, right?
Well, I mean, this is like, you know how people talk about how, like, with parking enforcement, that they have quotas and they'll, like, vulture your meter to make sure that they can give you the ticket?
Yeah.
Doesn't this feel like maybe this ambulance driver had a quota of, like, people he was supposed to bring in?
They're out looking for him.
He was one short, saw the old timer on the bike, was like, get him.
He's filed a lawsuit for over $990,000.
I mean, honestly, the pain and suffering of being at that age and struck by an ambulance.
Well, you got to think, in the States, it's not only the hospital bill, but it's also the medical expenses on top of that, right?
Everything this guy's going to have to go through in the recovery process should probably be covered by the reckless ambulance that wiped him out.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Apparently, allegedly, 3 people are claiming that they have received soiled diapers from Amazon. They got orders of diapers. When they opened up the box, numerous diapers in them, previously used, if you're catching my drift.
Hey, you got to read this fine print.
Now, what they're saying is that they were on a discount because they were returned items, which Amazon is supposed to check, right?
Amazon warehouse,
They usually do put them back on the shelves. Now, I ask you this. Who's grosser? The people at the Amazon warehouse who didn't check it, or the people that returned dirty diapers?
I mean, it's got to be the person who initiated the crime, right?
That's so messed up.
Like, this sucks to find out that Amazon workers are just shipping out stuff without making any quality control.
But we also know they don't get paid enough.
That's just it. I can't side against the workers in this situation when there is some or multiple psychopaths out there.
At least 3.
At least, imagine they're all from the same person who's just been running this scam for months.
I mean, it just goes to show that you can return anything back to Amazon. I didn't even know you could return diapers in general.
It makes sense if it's like a sealed box, or even because what'll happen is kids grow so fast. You buy the diapers, they put it on. Oh, these actually don't fit. Send it back. I get that. But there has to be somebody at the warehouse, just okay, these are clean, and then move it along the line. You don't even have to open it. Just smell the box.
I was going to say, imagine the smell.
Just smell the box. And if it smells like crap, then don't sell it to someone else.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A woman was fined trying to cross the border from Mexico into the States.
Oh.
And officers seized over 700 pounds of what they're calling illegal bologna.
Illegal bologna? What was illegal about it?
A 43-year-old woman was crossing the border. They asked her if she had anything to declare.
Oh, okay.
She said she just had some food.
Yeah.
So they asked her to pull to the side because obviously when you cross the borders, there's certain foods that you can and cannot bring in.
Yeah.
Upon opening the suitcases, she had 40 rolls of Mexican bologna.
Is it better there or something?
I don't know.
Like, this is what I'm trying to figure. Like, it's just bologna. It's not laced with anything.
But the thing is the meats, right? Like,
No.
Yeah, you can't bring certain stuff across the border like that.
I get that, but I'm just trying to clarify. Like, there's no cocaine in this meat.
No, it's just bologna.
There's no heroin tucked under the casing. She just had that much meat that she was trying to smuggle in.
748 pounds of bologna were destroyed, is what they're saying.
Brother, that is more than two of me. That is two of me and half of you.
She got $1,000 fine on top of that.
Well, yeah. What are you doing with all that bologna, lady?
Now, like I said, they did say the 748 pounds of bologna were destroyed. How did they destroy it?
Oh, a cheese tray. Charcuterie board, for sure.
The fella's just having bologna sandwiches for the next few months?
Buddy, you don't even have a sandwich. You just hold it by the stick at that point, bite it off like a Slim Jim.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A British woman has tried to sue her former employer because she says she didn't get a farewell card when she left. She claims it is a failure to acknowledge her existence.
What? Get the hell out of here.
Now, in court, her former colleagues testified, check this out, that they did, in fact, buy her a card.
Oh.
But the only reason they didn't give it to her is only 3 people signed it.
Damn. No one wanted to say goodbye.
The judge just threw out the case after that.
Well,
which also, I don't really know what the case is that you felt like, I don't know, bummed out that nobody liked you.
Emotional distress, I guess, would be the claim.
Also, but I mean, this is worst case scenario. You just found out that everyone at your job actually hated you.
You should have all said goodbye to me. And it's like, yeah, it turns out only 3 people in the whole company didn't hate your guts.
Well, and let's get real. When there's those, like, going away cards, I mean, most of us are like, all right.
Anytime a card comes across my desk, I don't even read what it's for. I just write, "You did it," with an exclamation point and send it along.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
If you ever need a reason for an excuse, you can always just blame God. That's at least what a Colorado pastor did. He's been accused of pocketing $1.3 million in a cryptocurrency scheme.
God damn.
Claiming that the Lord told him to. Him and his wife were marketing this crypto thing to like a bunch of different Christian communities in Denver, Colorado. And yeah, he was just saying that God told him people would become wealthy if they invested.
Lord stood on high and told Moses the 10 Commandments, but he told this guy, yo, FTX looks good right now.
Yo, that's actually a nice excuse. God told me to do it.
Guys, this is not my fault. It's in the insurance. It's literally an act of God.
I'm going to use that next time. Courtney's going to be like, did you eat all the pizza? I'll be like, yeah, God told me to.
God has a huge investment in GameStop.
You come home drunk from the bar. It's like, why'd you get so drunk last night? The Lord told me to.
Baby, I was going to take the garbage out and I was going to shovel the driveway. Then God said the couch needs company.
I'm a believer, all right?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A man in Ohio was arrested after a series of break-ins early yesterday morning, including at a pet store, where when they arrived, a bunch of the animals were set free roaming around the store. They presume that was intentionally.
Yeah.
And when police found him, they discovered 4 hamsters in his pants.
In his pockets or?
No.
In the trousers?
Yeah.
Did they ask him why?
They didn't give an answer on that, but I do love the police. They gave an interview after the situation.
Okay.
We say it all the time. We never know what to expect in our job. And one day, you're running after a suspect. The next day, you're running after a ferret or a bunny.
Something tells me that interview is not going to inspire many kids to be like, I want to be a cop when I grow up.
My thing is they found 4 hamsters in this guy's pants.
Yeah.
Does the pet store still sell those hamsters?
Oh.
Because, like when you go to the grocery store, if I was to steal something and you caught it, they're going to throw it out.
Right, yeah. If you stuff a cucumber down your pants, they don't put it back in the produce
Do they
aisle.
have like a discount for whoever wants to buy these, these ball hamsters?
Gently used,
Yeah.
I believe is the technical term. I'm not saying they were only gently used, or they maybe would have been more heavily used.
Do they at least give them a bath, do you think?
You have to, right? Yeah. Maybe what you do is you don't sell them. Maybe they're free to a good home.
Imagine working at the pet store and seeing some poor family come in and the kids are holding them up to their face and you're like, oh God, you guys don't even know.
Brock and Dalby Podcast.
2 men from upstate New York have died from a type of pneumonia after using bat poop to grow cannabis. Yeah, that's a real headline.
That can't be the best way to grow.
They call it bat guano, which is, it's basically literally bat turds that they use as fertilizer to grow plants like cannabis.
Wasn't this vaguely the plot of the second Ace Ventura movie? Wasn't it about how, like, bat guano is worth its weight in gold?
True, yeah. That's exactly it.
Although I don't remember them growing weed in Ace Ventura.
They say that it can carry a harmful fungus, and either from actually using it to plant things or even to smoke it could be quite dangerous.
Just not a great idea.
If anyone ever tells you they've got that good-ish, just make sure that it's not bad-ish.
I got that bat stuff.
Yeah,
Want some?
yeah.
No, I do not.
Someone talks about rolling up a bat, it's got a whole nother meaning now, you know?
Call it my Bruce Wayne.
Finally, in Sorta Kinda, this is what it's going to take out your parents?
I love that you interrupted your own story to rewind back for that joke.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Do you remember last week when we talked about the 43 monkeys that escaped from that lab in South Carolina?
Oh, yeah. What was the super evil sounding company? Alpha Genesis?
They still haven't found the monkeys.
Let's go, monkeys.
As of yesterday, they've put out a statement once again asking the public to keep their eyes and ears out for them.
Nah, we ain't snitching.
There has not been a trace of any of these monkeys, and the CEO is quoted as saying, "I hope they're having an adventure right now."
I bet you hope that. I bet you hope they're having an adventure and not taking their genetically modified mutations you probably gave them and plotting their revenge.
I cannot wait for the Netflix documentary all about this in the next 5 years.
I am 100% cheering for the monkeys on this one.
I just feel like, you know, why aren't we talking about this more? We're the media. We need to be talking about this more.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
OPP are looking for information after a large quantity of lobsters were found dumped along Highway 17 near Bondfield. 100 lobsters is what they're assuming. Just dumped on the side of the road. Still with the rubber bands on the claws as well there.
I wonder 2 things. One, what was the look on the face of the first person who found them? Who, like, was driving by and did a double take of, like, what?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you just had your windows rolled down and you were like, oh, God.
2, were the lobsters any good? You know what I mean? Were there any of the lobsters that were still salvageable?
Yeah.
Are the OPP having a cookout? That's what I'm asking today.
Is there a Red Lobster anywhere close near there? I know they filed for bankruptcy.
The owner of the nearest Red Lobster is like, this is just the boost we needed, fellas.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is a wild story coming from Idaho. A truck hauling 48,000 pounds of molasses crashed into a truck loaded with manure on Friday.
No!
The manure truck caught on fire, and then 1,000 pounds of molasses spilled onto the highway, blocking the road for over 4 hours.
Talk about a traffic jam.
Right? You ever thought to yourself, this is crap, why is it moving so slow? That's literally it right there.
What the 7448 is going on up there?
The smell and everything that you got to clean up from the molasses on top of that.
I mean, you ever been to a farm, you ever been around manure, you know it's already got, it's potent. I can't imagine fire makes it better. You know?
No. You've never done the thing from Billy Madison before, have you?
You know what? I never have, and I don't think I ever will.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ford's slogan is Built Ford Tough, but it may be evolving to Built Ford Tough on crime. Because Ford is apparently trying to patent a system that they developed that would automatically report speeding vehicles to the police.
Okay, you don't need to be snitching on me when I buy your vehicle.
Now, the thing is, it's not you, actually.
Oh.
It's not your vehicle. They'd use their onboard cameras to snitch on other drivers.
Oh, so you become the tattletale of the highway.
Yeah, you become the snitch.
100%. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll bring you all down.
The snitch petition?
Only I get...
The snitch F-150.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sold now.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Elon Musk debuted his robots last night at an event. They're called Tesla's Optimus.
Wait, what do you mean his robots?
He's got a line of robots that are going to be coming out. They're called Optimus, and he's saying they can do anything. They're a humanoid robot.
Wait, like stand upright, arms, legs?
Here, watch this video. This is someone actually speaking to one of the robots.
Hey, Optimus, what's up? How's it going, man? Enjoying the party?
What?
What do you think of the new Cybercab? Cybercab looks amazing. I know. I'm trying to get a ride.
What?
Dude, and then look at these videos.
Why does it sound so chill?
They're bartending. They're dancing around.
Oh.
I mean, they look like the robots from iRobot, but with a black face.
Why's that robot in the back there got more rhythm than I do?
I'm scared. I'm genuinely scared after seeing this.
It sounds like such a casual conversation. Like it feels like that's a robot costume, like a Halloween costume on a regular person, the way that it's talking.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't like it at all. People are commenting on the dancing videos saying we are closer to robot strippers. So, I mean, at least there's one positive, I guess.
That's a positive for you?
I don't know.
You're heading to the Sundowner to watch the AI strippers?
Throw water on them after a dance? Oh. You don't have to pay.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Researchers in China are now working on a flexible finger-like probe with sensors on the end that they think could be the future of doing prostate exams.
I've had some time to think about this, and I actually think that I'm on board in this situation. I know your feelings on robots. You don't trust them. But the most uncomfortable part of a prostate exam is knowing that there is a person attached to the finger.
But also some of the best, medical things is when you get that human connection with someone.
I don't think in this situation that's true. I don't think it's the same thing. They're talking about putting tiny sensors inside the probe, which could actually use the surrounding area to take readings and stuff. The human finger can't do that.
My thing is, how many times in life does technology break down on us? That thing gets stuck,
Well, I think you just have to, as long as it's built in a certain way, it should be extractable.
Or how unnerving would it be to, drop your drawers and before they do it, the, technician or whatever is like, we just got to spray a little WD-40 on this.
Instead of lubricant.
That's straight nightmare fuel, dude.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Canada destroyed 3.7 million pounds of unsold, unpackaged cannabis since 2018.
Hell yeah, we did.
That's a lot of weed, brother.
I assume when they say that, they mean it the same way I say it when I say I destroyed a buffet the other day.
Here's the thing. Apparently, the reason they've had to destroy so much weed is because of the supply and demand. They can't figure out how much weed people actually want.
Oh, so when you say you mean like we actually just straight up burned it and got rid of it?
They won't say exactly what they're doing to it. Like, are they throwing it in the garbage?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's like when I was in high school and I worked at KFC and we had to destroy the leftover chicken.
Sure.
You know that a few employees left with a few Glad bags at the end of the night.
Lots of fellas are going home with stuffed pockets.
Yeah, they're about to start a side hustle out the garage, you know what I mean?
Here's a wild stat, though, that was in the article that I read. 3.7 million pounds of unsold, unpackaged weed has been destroyed. That's the equivalent of the weight of around 1,252 Honda Civics.
Who did that math?
Someone who took the weed home.
Someone who destroyed the weed.
That's 100% what that was.
Bro, do you know how many Honda Civics this is? This is wild.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
According to scientists, apparently dinosaur farts were one of the biggest contributors to climate change 250 million years ago.
Damn those dinosaurs.
How did they figure that out?
That honestly.
How did they figure that out?
It just feels like sometimes science just says things because they're like, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't that have been a problem?
You know what I mean? Are these the same guys who are studying weed right now and they're just like, bet you those farts probably contributed to that?
Because you hear about like cow farts all the time are like a big problem nowadays.
Sure.
So maybe that's it. Yeah, a bunch of scientists just sitting around with a jazz cabbage going, man, if cows fart a lot, I bet you the T-Rex could let her rip.
Dude, all I'm saying is I heard that they're making a new Jurassic Park. This better be involved in it. Jurassic fart, dude? Make it happen.
It's just Chris Pratt plugging his nose for the 3 hours.
They've escaped the island, but can we escape their bombs? The real Big Bang, dude?
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
There's currently a bunch of North Korean soldiers that are in Russia, and apparently they have gained unrestricted access to the internet for the very first time.
Oh my God, they must be learning all kinds of like world history events and things that they didn't know were real or were given alternate histories to.
This is a real quote. Apparently they are gorging on pornography.
or that. Why would I think that they were using it to learn and to research things when pornography exists?
North Korean officials are very upset with the soldiers out there and are worried that they are going to become distracted from their task at hand.
Hey, both hands on the gun, all right? Come on.
I mean, I get it. There was a story last year of like some tribe out somewhere that got internet access for the first time.
That's right.
And then everything kind of went to crap because they were all just like, we got the hub now?
Everybody thought that like having access to the sum total of the world's knowledge base would be an advancement for these people, and they right away were like, yo, you got people taking clothes off?
It's weird all across this world, the differences we have, but some of the same similarities, you know?
There's one thing that unites us all, and it's being horny as hell.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Apparently, Earth will obtain a second moon this month.
Why do you say it like we're in like a trade with one of the other planets? We're giving up a first-round pick to Jupiter for one of their moons.
Apparently, there's a tiny asteroid that is acting like a new mini-moon, and it's supposed to stick around for the next 2 months before it heads back to the asteroid belt.
Really?
I don't understand how any of that works, but doesn't that seem like... I know there's the conspiracy side of me, but that seems like a distraction from something.
100%. Absolutely. Oh, we're having an asteroid over for an orbital play date before we send it back home?
I feel like most of the time we hear about these asteroids that could hit Earth, and this one's just chilling.
Yeah. Hey, guys, if you happen to be looking up at the sky and you see an object fly towards Earth, stop, hang out for 2 months, and then go away, don't worry about it. Totally normal. We're just getting a second moon.
This is the kind of stuff that keeps my tinfoil hat on.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The man who helped design the breathalyzer recently just got a DUI.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's way too crazy.
He came up with the idea for the breathalyzer, designed it, actually helped enforce it.
Yeah.
And recently, about 2 weeks ago, he was caught driving over the limit. Now he has received a ban from driving because of how high he blew over.
Just imagine the cop comes over to his window and is just like, hey, I'm going to need you to breathe into this. Have you ever seen one of these before?
I know.
The guy's like, buddy, you're not even going to believe what I'm about to tell you.
What's that old Batman quote? You either die the hero or live long enough
to become the villain. You'd think he would have left some sort of like back door or something for him, like a secret trick to get out of it in case he ever found himself in this situation.
Which is just another reminder this holiday season. Please don't drink and drive, guys.
Hey, what a segue.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We've all heard the term grow a pair before, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Well, now you actually can, as researchers in Israel have created lab-grown testicle organoids that closely resemble the real thing.
I guess my only question is, for what?
Well, for anyone who's maybe lost a nut or anything like that, like if you had testicular cancer or something, or if you've had, I don't know, anything that's kind of affected it where you maybe only have one.
They're replacement nards.
So they're actually like 3D mini organs, but they're made from like stem cells and stuff. So they're saying they can actually work too.
Wow. Like fully functional biologic testicles.
Yeah.
Science is crazy.
Yeah, dude. The only thing that I wonder is, do you think it would still hurt if you got kicked in the nuts?
If you got kicked in a fake pair of testes?
Yeah.
I wonder. Because if we can
if science can take the pain away, I think guys would sign up for that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If they're still functional, they still do the job, but you can get hit in that area without feeling like your life is coming to an end. Sign me up.
I also do like the idea of being in the change room or something one day and being like, oh, those are fake. I know fake ones when I see them.
They're real and they're glorious.
I don't even need to touch them, dude. I know those are fake.
If you're getting fake ones, do you go for size? Do you bulk up? Do you slim down for aerodynamics?
You got to get some clackers, dude.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Apparently on Monday, during the eclipse, NASA is actually going to be launching some rockets into space.
Why not, right? There's already enough going on over our heads. Let's just add more stuff to it.
They say it's to conduct research on aspects of the sun and Earth that's apparently only possible during an eclipse, which sounds super shady, does it not?
Honestly, it really does. Especially because a lot of the time when they're doing this stuff, they're just super vague about it. They're like, we're going to shoot some rockets up into the air during the eclipse so we can test stuff. Trust us, it's fine.
Is there a war with the aliens going on that we don't know about? Is there some trade going on? Like, what's the deal here, man?
The moon aliens are coming. That's why this is the 8th. Is the perfect time for them to strike, but NASA's ready.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A new report says that we may be getting closer to an exercise pill. They're saying that scientists are proposing a class of drugs that aim to do exactly what the name suggests, mimic the health benefits of exercise. So hypothetically, there's a future where we might be able to take a pill once a day.
Damn.
And then you don't need to exercise.
Do you think people still go to the gym in that world? Like in the world where one pill can make you run your metabolism, do whatever you do, so that you're in average shape. Do people still go to the gym?
I mean, I guess if you're already working out, right? But why are you going to work out if you have the pill already?
Right. It's like when you see someone who's super jacked in the gym and you're like, why are you here? You're good. You won. You did it.
There would probably be a whole separate group of people who would take pride in not being on the pill.
Bro, I'm natty.
Yeah. Also, calling it the pill is very hilarious to anyone who just tuned in. Like if you just turned on the radio
the
and you're hearing that.
The most complimentary way you could ever say is like, yo, are you on the pill? You're looking good.
That's like the new steroids. They're testing people. They're like, are you on the pill? Take a piss test right now.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Vin Diesel says that the next Fast and Furious movie will be the last one.
What is that, 11?
I don't even know, man. Like 37?
I think it's 11, which is just such a weird number to end on. Like, you did Fast X, that's 10. Stop. Just stop.
I just feel like Vin Diesel saying that the Fast and Furious franchise ending is like me telling my mom when I was a kid that this is the last game that I play before I go to sleep. You know what I mean? You know that there's going to be a spin-off or something or whatever, right? Like,
yeah. Well, it's just called Family after that. And they'll do another 11 movies.
I will say, though, if it does end up being the last one, the only way that they can end this franchise is there's a huge plot twist.
Okay.
Remember back in the first movie when him and Paul Walker are like racing and he like sneaks by that train?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, be careful with what you're about to say.
He's been in a coma for the past 23 years.
He got hit by the train.
He actually got hit by the train.
Which would explain why these humble DVD player thieves have been to friggin' space.
Exactly. That's how they wrap it all up. He got hit by the train many moons ago.
Yeah.
He wakes up and what is he surrounded by? Family.
And it explains all the pop culture, like The Rock, Ronda Rousey, John Cena, all these people have been in the movies. It's because his family was watching their movies in the hospital room.
Exactly.
Oh, I actually really like that. That would be so great.
We need to copyright this idea before someone steals it too.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
If you know Jimi Hendrix, you know he always used to wear that red, white, and blue headband, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently that's just hit the auction block. How much do you think that's going for right now?
Dude, game worn? Like the actual headband?
Yeah.
It's got to be 7 figures.
No, $40,000 actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, I mean, now that you say it, does seem like a little bit low, but I'm always curious when people buy these things, like, you're gonna frame it, right? Like, if you buy someone's used clothing, do you wear it?
I think, and I don't have 40 grand, But if I buy Jimi Hendrix's headband, I wear it once. You gotta wear it once.
You wear it once and you set a guitar on fire,
100%.
right?
You go to a pawn shop, you buy a guitar, you set it on fire wearing the headband, you get insurance.
It's like the dude that bought Kurt Cobain's like last pack of cigarettes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, do you smoke one? Do you open the pack?
I don't think I smoke one because I think that's bad luck. That's bad juju.
True. I just always feel weird when it's like, I know people that buy like sports memorabilia and then it's like you just put it up on a shelf like
a framed game worn Tom Brady jersey. Like,
some dude bought like Michael Jordan's underwear once. It's like, do you sniff it? Do you put it on? Like, what do you do? You know?
I think you got to play at least one game of 21. I think that's it.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Canada Post announced that they will be recognizing Much Music and Music Plus.
Oh, yeah.
With their own commemorative postal stamps.
Perfect, because the only thing more outdated than TV channels that play music videos is sending physical mail.
I thought the exact same thing. What a way to say that something is dead by using the other thing.
And I'm sorry. It's disrespectful to say it. I know that we have people, because we've texted and called with them, who work for Canada Post that listen to the show. And I mean no disrespect. But the irony is too good.
It's super funny, right? The fact of like two things that are basically extinct.
Also, just the idea of like licking the back of a George Stroumboulopoulos and smacking it on an envelope.
That's what it's going to be. Like, is it going to be that? Is it going to be a photo of Rick the Temp?
It's just Ed the Sock. They are scratch and sniff.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Mark Zuckerberg and T-Pain teamed up.
Just give me a second before you finish that sentence. I'm going to need a minute.
Mark Zuckerberg wanted to honor his girlfriend or fiance on their anniversary.
Sure.
So they did a cover of this great song.
369, damn, you're fine.
Is that Zuckerberg?
This is the Zuck.
You can sock it to me, baby, one more time. Get low, get low, get low, get low. Get low, get low, get low.
I actually don't hate it, though.
I do, like, when I'm cooking and stuff like that, I like to put on playlists of, like, acoustic covers of songs.
Here, wait for it.
Till all these bitches crawl. Oh, skeet, skeet, motherfucker. Oh, skeet, skeet, goddamn.
If this came on one of those playlists, I would not be upset by it. I would be shocked to find out that it's Mark Zuckerberg.
Fresh, so clean. Can't you that question for harassing me in the mind? This feels so fine. I done come to this club about 11 times.
Now, this is what happens when you have too much money, by the way.
So the reason is apparently when he met his girlfriend at a club,
this is their song.
This was the song that was playing. So they do consider it their song.
So romantic.
Like the most least romantic song of all
Just
time.
imagine when they go to get married, they're standing at the aisle in front of church, God, family, and friends, and he's holding her hand.
To the windows!
Hi, Mark Zuckerberg. Do take you. Skeet, 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 skeet.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Whoopi Goldberg is catching some flack from the folks at Disney. You know the ride... It's a Small World After All.
Oh, dude, my whole spine just tensed up.
Whoopi Goldberg decided to pour her mother's ashes in the water at It's a Small World.
That's literally already the creepiest theme park ride in the world. We don't need your mom's ghost haunting it now.
Apparently her mom was a big Disney fan, so she figured it would be the right thing to do.
Yo, pour it out in like a garden bed or something. Let her ashes fertilize those flowers they make into Mickey ears. Don't pour it in the demon hell waters of It's a Small World.
Disney has yet to make a statement on the situation, but she did put it in her new memoir, and she is considered a Disney legend. She's in like the Hall of Fame there.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if that gets her revoked.
Revoked Hall of Fame status?
Could you imagine being like a family on there and just seeing Whoopi Goldberg dumping out ashes?
Yeah, odds are good that she wasn't on the ride by herself, because for some reason, people still subject themselves to this hellish nightmare. You're on the boat behind Whoopi Goldberg, who's like, goodbye, Mom. Boosh. What are you
too.
It's a weird move.
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.